Thanks. How
Um,
long ago was your NDE?
let's see, this was back in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
Was you ill? What happened?
I was under a lot of stress and I was in an abusive relationship. And basically, it was to the point where I wanted to split from this toxic relationship. It was very bad. He was an alcoholic and he blacked out to the point where when he was doing things to me when he was drunk, I saw nothing in his eyes. It was just black. So I think that he was being taken over by other entities and stuff like that. But I had to get out. And unfortunately, he was living with me. So I had to get him out, basically. And that meant that I was going to also risk my financial stability.
Yeah.
So it was a really hard time in my life. And during an episode where he was blackout drunk is when I had my NDE.
From abuse?
Yes. Yeah. I think it's just I couldn't take it any longer. You know, my soul just didn't want this.
Mhm.
And
Was he physically harming you? I mean,
yeah, he did physically harm me. Yeah. And that was the most traumatic part because I had been in relationships that were abusive before, but they were mentally abusive, which is hard too. It's very damaging to be under mental abuse, but the physical was just something new for me. And, you know, thinking I was going to die with my kids in the next room all the time, you know,
yeah.
was really, really hard. And basically are we recording now for the interview?
Yeah. I just want to say I've been there.
Okay. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
16-year marriage, 3 boys in the next room. And I was a child abuse investigator. I helped women get out of these situations. This didn't happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say the graveyards are full of women who thought it would never get that far.
Mm-hmm.
And that went through my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm going to be in that graveyard along with those women that thought it wouldn't get that far.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's terrifying. So that was exactly what happened on the night that I had my NDE. And my kids were actually at their dad's for the weekend, and he had been drinking a lot and doing drugs as well. And he he wanted to get physical with me as far as like sexual. And he was just kind of forcing himself on me. And every time he got this way, it repulsed me because I knew where it was going.
Yeah.
You know, and I just really didn't want him on me. So I think me escaping, you know, fight or flight, as they say, you just kind of take off to another place mentally.
right.
And all I knew was that I was slipping away. I felt myself just physically leaving to the point where I had to just push him off me because I felt I didn't know, I had never had this feeling before.
Right.
And I felt like I was dying at that moment. I felt like I was just going to be gone. And so I pushed him off me, got some fresh air. And then I walked to the back door, opened the door, got some fresh air. I started slipping away again there. And then I walked to the front door and tried to get some fresh air. I was just trying to move around, you know, and I started slipping away there. And then I passed out. And then I woke up, and then I started to walk up the stairs to go up to my bedroom, and I passed out again. And I fell down like 3 stairs. And that's when I left.
Okay. What did that feel like when you left?
I don't remember. I don't
Okay.
remember what it felt like when I left. All I know is right before I left, I was feeling the process of leaving. So
Yeah, I get it.
yeah, so I was very kind of numb. I couldn't really catch my breath anymore.
Like a numb knowing?
A numb knowing, yeah. Like I'm leaving.
Yeah.
My soul is like leaving my body. I couldn't breathe anymore. I couldn't, my brain felt like it was getting really numb. I'm trying to think of some tingliness, numbness in my hands and arms, but I have PTSD, obviously, because of all those situations that I was going through before that night. But so that's part of the PTSD, is the numb and tingly and kind of spacing out. But this is totally different than just spacing out and getting through a traumatic situation. This was literally abandoning my body and dying, just deciding that I'm gonna just check out completely.
Okay. Then what?
I was feeling that, but I don't remember the falling and really just leaving. I don't remember that part at all. I just remember what led up to that
Okay.
and waking up.
Okay. So you have no memory of anything. You just come to.
No, because the coming to was a very long process.
What was that
So,
like?
Okay, so I woke up, I opened my eyes, and he was right there over me with panic. And so when I opened my eyes, because I was gone, it took a while to get back to my body. And so I didn't know what was going on. And when I saw his eyes with panic, I was still in a peaceful zone though, because it wasn't like I could even jump up because it was so hard for me to come back to my body. So I was looking up at him and kind of just still laying there because I was frozen. I couldn't move. I couldn't really, just like I said, I couldn't just jump up. So I'm looking up at him and he's like, you and he was so stunned, and he was like, you were, and he kept saying like, I don't know what to do. You were, and finally he said, you were dead. And you were totally gone. And I didn't, the thing that makes me so mad is he said, I didn't know what I was gonna say to your parents. And I was like, is that it? You just didn't know what you were gonna say to my parents? Aren't you glad that I'm back, type of thing? But he said you were gone, and he said I had no pulse, and I was flatlined, and I slowly started making movement with my body and getting myself off the floor, but it was the strangest feeling ever. I felt like I was still separated from my body, and so I looked down at myself, completely white. I had no color in my body whatsoever. And I just remember barely feeling myself. And I kept looking at my body like it was a new thing to me, And
Like you were detached.
yeah, yeah. And it was the strangest feeling. Coming into, all I can say is I felt myself as energy. And having an identity with that energy, but not identifying with my body. And so it was like coming into a new thing for me. And looking at my body, it looked strange to me. And but it was completely pale. I did remember that I had children. I was really peaceful though. So I don't feel like, and I was hearing music. I was hearing beautiful music. But
When you come back, you were?
Yeah, it was the most beautiful music I've ever heard. And I've been trying to find that music for a while now. And I found a couple nice tracks on YouTube that sound a lot like it. But it's the most beautiful music, and it's so peaceful. So I wasn't in fear when I woke up. Like I knew what had happened, but I wasn't afraid that I'd passed over. It was just, I feel like there was no worry. It was complete love. You don't worry about anything over there, because I just based on the feeling that I had when I came back. Now I remembered that I had children, and that I was very happy that I didn't stay there, but it was still just a peaceful process coming to my body, even though it was really difficult. I was happy that I was still there for my children, but I don't think I would ever fear death ever again. It broke all my fear, because once you leave, you don't have any fear. There's no worry about anything. It's just complete love. And so I kept hearing the music, but like I said, the more I came back to my body, the more far away the music became. And to me, I equated the music to vibrations. So I was thinking, and this is just my opinion, that when you come back and you hear that music, for me, it was maybe like the travel, because we have to travel through to get to this low vibrational, dense type of body. And the place that we were complete love, complete peace, and coming from that place, I believe the vibration, it was like a tunnel of vibrational movement. And so I feel like the music was the vibrations, not necessarily a choir, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't picture a choir or anything like that. I knew that the love and the peaceful vibrations were in the music, and it was possibly from the place that I was, but I also believe it was part of the travel.
Was there singing or just instruments or?
Um, see, that's the hard part, because if there was singing, it was more of like angelic, what you'd think of angelic, you know, high, in unison, great multitude of just the most beautiful voices. But it could have also been instrumental sounding, because sometimes when you play specifically on like a keyboard, you can make those sounds where it sounds very high, and just, you can make those sounds that sound like voices. So I'm not sure if they were necessarily voices or not, but it was the most beautiful music I've ever heard.
It makes me think of something I heard about Freddie Mercury from Queen the other day. Said his voice is the one that they have found that was actually like a musical instrument.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So maybe in heaven, our voices are musical instruments.
Mm-hmm. All I know is that it was so beautiful. Like I said, I did find a couple tracks that are very similar. So when I want to visit there again and kind of feel that, I play them, and I just cry, because it was, like I said, the most peaceful, beautiful, loving feeling ever. And even when I was coming back,
It sounds like a gift you were given.
yeah,
And that it's something that'll keep giving, because you can always return to that. Like some people, they see the light and they can think about the light when they like having trouble, and they can think about the light and then feel that lightness in their heart again, and you have the music. So that's a gift that always going to be a stress reliever.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Yep.
I turn on The Message. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's a Christian channel. And if I get feeling really angry, irritable, whatever, and I turn that on and then in no time, I'll be like, yay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
has this changed you? Has this changed your life?
Yeah, it has. I want to finish talking about, if you don't mind,
Oh, sure.
due process for me.
Okay.
I don't know if it might resonate with other people that watch this and might have similar experiences. I know for me, when I haven't really heard specifically anyone with my exact situation, my
Right.
story, as far as what I felt. A lot of people actually tell about
That's a good thing.
when they were over, yeah. Some people talk about what they saw or felt when they were over. I didn't unfortunately have that experience where I saw things, or I knew where I was.
That's good. You don't want to be that dead.
Yeah. Yeah, back pretty quickly. So I was coming to, I eventually stood up, but I was very dizzy, and I wanted to get to the bathroom sink so I could just splash cold water on my face, and it felt like I instinctively just knew what I needed to do to really bring it back. So I did that, but when I went to splash my face with cold water, like I said, my skin tone was completely white still. I barely had any color. It slowly came back, which was nice, but this was about a couple hours process to be able to do all this. And then after that, after I got done really getting some fresh air, splashing my face and all that, I wanted to go to bed. And so
You
when
what?
I wanted to go to bed,
Oh, okay.
I was exhausted, and plus the situation was I was able to get him off my back because he was so shocked. I think it probably snapped him out of whatever drunken state he was in, actually, because he was so scared and so shocked that I don't even remember where he was basically for the rest of the night because I was just really focused on what was going on with me. And
Maybe he realized he went too far,
yeah,
pushed
and
you too much.
yeah, and he just kept trying to, before that, before I left, he just, kept trying to push himself on me. Um and after that, I just don't even, after I got up and came back to, I don't remember really where he was for the rest of the night. But I went to bed, and I remember laying there, and I looked at my hands, and I remember specifically thinking, I look old. I look really old. My skin looks different. I expected my skin to be younger, and I had wrinkles in my hands. I don't know if the process makes people age quickly when they come back, but I literally saw a difference in my body. Like I was having spots and wrinkles on my hands, and I just remember thinking, I'm not old like this. I'm really young. And that's about it for that night for what happened. As far as feeling different, absolutely. I feel very different. um, Afterwards, I started rapidly having these revelations about things. I was able to break off my toxic relationship, like no problem at all.
Good.
To the point where, like I told you, my finances were burdened because of having him leave, and I knew that. So I was preparing for what I was going to do with the kids, and we went homeless after that. And I had some savings, just a little bit, and we went to stay in a hotel for a little while because at that point I just needed a break. And we went to stay at a hotel, and then after that, my money started depleting, and I had no idea what I was going to do. But I had so much peace during this whole thing. I wasn't afraid at all, and I just knew that everything was going to work out. Everyone kept telling me and giving me advice that, you're a single mom with 3 kids, and well, I have 6 kids, but the 3 kids that were older were from my previous marriage. And so I was married twice. I had 3 and 3, 2 girls and a boy, and 2 girls and a boy. And the 3 younger ones were living with me at the time. So those are the ones I was really concerned about, taking care of them. And so we went to stay at the hotel. My money was being depleted. People were giving me advice that if you really need to go get help, you need to go to shelter. And because if you take the kids to the shelter, then you can get the help you need.
Yeah.
But if you keep trying to make it on your own, there's no way that you're going to get the help that you need.
Right.
You have to.
You get put on top of lists for
Right.
apartments and things.
Yeah. So
Clothing vouchers.
Yep. So we went to live in a shelter, and that was even a blessing also. It was so much peace, Peg. I can't even explain it. I don't think that I would have felt all that if I hadn't had the experience that I did. And I think I probably would have been stressing a little bit more. The kids were even peaceful. They didn't complain that we were in it with other people, and we actually tried to be blessings to the people that we're meeting and show them love, and we made the best of it. And then I was able to get help from there and get an apartment. But before we left the place that I was living, I had a lot of things happen. Like I said, I was having a lot of revelations. I was being told to do certain things. The UFO thing comes in, where I was visited by, very often, light ships, and I don't remember ever seeing anything in my home, but I remember feeling things. So I don't know if they were cloaked or whatever, but I remember feeling beings around me.
Explain light ships. What's that mean?
Okay, so in one instance, because we lived in a duplex, just to give you the setup. We lived in a duplex townhouse with a garage, with another duplex townhouse attached to us. So, you know, when you walk out the back doors of those, they have like a little cement slab.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I had a tree line that was about probably 30 feet from my cement slab patio in the back. And at night, I loved going out to look at the stars. That was one of the things I loved doing. I even had my professional camera was set up on a tripod. So I would just take it out and set it and record or take pictures. And one night I stepped out to look at the stars, and this light came zooming. It was so bright. I would say it was probably the size of a school bus, just a light. And it was just right above the trees, which it wasn't too far away from me. And I called, my boyfriend hadn't moved out yet, so I called him, and he came out and he saw the same thing. And we couldn't believe and then it just disappeared. It was gone. And then on another instance, he was away for work, and I was sitting on the couch. I remember, I think it was even Super Bowl Sunday or something, and I was alone downstairs, but the kids were in bed. I heard this light whooshing sound, just a very soft, and it sounded like an airplane, but it sounded too close and too quiet to be an airplane. So my couch was right next to the window, and I opened up the curtain to look up, and there was a triangular UFO right above my house.
A what?
A triangular UFO.
Triangular.
Yeah, triangular.
Okay.
And there was 3 lights, white lights, circular white lights on each corner of the triangle, and in the middle there was a big red light, and it was just slowly moving over my house.
Was this in Maine?
Yeah. And then on another instance, this is hilarious. It was really funny, but we were both sitting on the back patio, and there was what looked like a satellite just slowly. So it looked kind of like up there, but it was slowly going over. And I've had instances where I've seen weird things before, even before my experience, but this was just even greater. So I was joking, and I was like, let's wave, you know, maybe they'll come rescue us from this horrible place. You know, I was like, hey, and I was like, come on, wave. He started waving, and all of a sudden the light went really bright. It was like the instant we started waving and saying, hey, the light went really bright and then dim, and then it just kept going. It was the craziest thing. But it was really funny because it couldn't have been a coincidence that right at the same time I was waving, you know, that it went right, like acknowledged that I was there. It was communicating.
You said something about beans?
Beings, yeah. Seeing the beings, feeling the beings. So
just you feel them?
Feeling the presence of something right next to me or behind me. It wasn't fearful, but it wasn't very comfortable either. So
no communication, just who's there?
No, basically, so it felt like pressure on my body, like I felt like something was right there, but I couldn't see anything. So I would just basically say, you know, I'm really uncomfortable with you being so close to me right now. Can you please back off? And every time that happened, they would.
Do you relate these experiences with the NDE?
Oh yeah, because it was right after the NDE. Like I said, there was a short period of time when he was still with me after this, because
like after the shelter, he come back?
After my NDE, my boyfriend.
Like the boyfriend that you got away from that was abusive, and you went to the shelter, and he came to the new apartment? Is that what you mean?
Oh, no, I mean, so there was a short period of time when I was still at the duplex, when he was still there with me.
Oh, okay.
He was waiting
Okay,
for-
I thought the shelter got you the duplex. No.
No, so he was on his way out after NDE.
Okay.
I was feeling very empowered. I was very strong, and I knew that I didn't want this toxic anymore. And I
Okay.
couldn't. I felt like I have a purpose, and that's the reason why I came back. And so I felt like I had no room for toxic anymore at all, period, because I had a mission and I needed to complete it. And if I was in toxic, then I can't. And
Do you
so
know what that purpose mission is?
yes, I'm a healer, and I'm not specifically sure what I'm supposed to be doing, but I take it one day at a time, and I believe that I'm going to be led to do the right thing when the time is right.
Have you been healing?
I've had visions when I was a child of being in front of a lot of people and healing people.
But you haven't done it yet. You can just see it coming in the future.
And when I was a teenager, I didn't know why I would be shown those things because I was extremely socially awkward. And I said, okay, I know that this is what I'm being shown, but I don't see myself doing such a thing because I can't do that type of thing. I was embarrassed because I was brought up in church to even have the offering plate passed by me because I was embarrassed about what I was given. I thought everyone was always watching me. And so I didn't feel like I would be able to ever get up in front of anybody. And so I'm being shown now with my NDE that I have been empowered to be able to do that. So back then when I thought I was socially awkward that I'd never be able to do something like that, now I do feel like I would be able to do something like that. I don't have any fear anymore. I feel like I've accepted what I'm supposed to do in the future. And
Okay. But have you healed anybody?
I do feel like I have. I've had a lot of people say that I've touched them, and most of it's through unconditional love and forgiveness.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've heard that I have the touch also, and that people feel well when they experience that.
Okay.
So
Has this changed you spiritually, this NDE? I mean,
yeah, it has. So like I said, I was having a lot of revelations. I didn't, growing up in Christian church, I always felt like there was something that just wasn't right. To me, there was more. And I felt like I resonated with a lot of it, and I love Jesus. I very close with Jesus. And but I felt like something was missing. And so after my NDE, I was being shown a lot of things such as there are truths in all religions, and that what I experienced in church was very judgmental, very exclusive, pushing other things out of the picture, being the only ones that are going to be saved type of thing. I never liked that. And those types of things were shown to me after my NDE, that there's a bigger picture and what was going on in my upbringing as far as what was being shown was very limited compared to the way it really is in God's eyes.
what's your plans now?
My plans now, it's really hard because I still struggle, and life is really difficult. I feel like there's still forces that are trying to keep me down, and they honestly have been trying to take me out my whole life. And so
Forces are trying to take you out?
yes. I have had close to death experiences before. When I was younger, I almost died when I was 3. I got very sick, and my mom was very afraid that I just wasn't going to make it. That could have been another possible NDE that I just wasn't aware of, but it's happened my whole life. Yeah. I've always felt like an outsider here on this earth. I feel kind of like an earth angel, honestly.
And do you think that these forces wanting you out, does that have to do with the UFO and the?
I have no idea. I don't know what the UFOs were all about. I have had a couple experiences with UFOs growing up, but after my NDE, I'm telling you, it was probably within a 2-month period, maybe 6 to 10 experiences very quickly within the 2 months after my NDE.
Like UFO or that feeling someone's there, that kind of stuff?
Seeing the ships around me and around my house.
6 to 10 times since your NDE, you've seen the UFOs?
No, within the 2 months after my NDE.
Within 2 months of your NDE, you saw 6 to 10 UFOs?
Yeah,
Okay.
when I was living at that townhouse duplex. Yeah.
Was you able to catch any of this on your camera that you had outside?
I did capture some of it. It's hard to make it out as well as we could with the naked eye. A couple times when it happened, like the bright light right above the trees, like the bright light that we were waiting to in the sky, those types of things, you always are afraid if you're going to go and grab your camera that you're not going to be able to see it.
Did you talk to the neighbors? You know if anybody else saw anything?
No, my kids did though. Yeah. So my kids experienced the same thing outside, that they would just be coming over our property, and
Okay.
my daughter would run in and say, "Mom, the UFO is out there," because I was very open with them about what was going on in my life, and yeah, my kids saw it.
So what are you going to do about this healer ability you feel you have?
I feel like I'm just going to be shown what to do. It's really, like I said, it's really hard because life gets you so down, and the system and finances. I feel like they use those things to really keep people struggling and in crisis mode. So they can't really fulfill the missions that they're supposed to fulfill.
Who
Because
does? I'm sorry. Who keeps you down?
Okay, so I feel like oppositional forces that rule.
Feel like something's always trying to hold you down, take you out.
Yeah. And so I feel that if I can just rise above that and get to the point where I'm not going to say it'll ever happen, because I think we're constantly going to be fought. I think with you, we don't belong in this world, that we feel we don't feel part of it, and that we struggle a lot more than people that don't have as much of a higher calling. Not that I'm better than anybody else. Sometimes it's really even hard to have this purpose, I don't want it.
You're not are you negative blood?
What?
Do you have negative blood? Okay.
No.
Because I've heard people say that's had like UFO encounters or a lot of spiritual experiences or feeling like an outsider, that sometimes they're negative blood and it just kind of like sets you up for life. How about that lady I referred you to with the UFO and the NDE? She's in charge of MUFON somewhere. Did that help?
I haven't really spoken to her.
Oh, okay.
But I would like to, but I've just been so busy.
Oh, okay. I just assumed you guys hooked up that day or something. So, okay.
I said we introduced each other.
Okay.
Introduced ourselves to each other, but we did not go into any deep conversation. I'm really hoping.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it's the UFOs. I haven't seen really so many lately, but honestly, I've been so busy that I haven't even been paying much attention. But if I pay attention, I see them. I feel like I said, a lot of people are kept in crisis mode to keep them back from doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is a lot of what Jesus did when he was here, telling people that there's a way out and they can be saved from this prison planet, and that it's all about love, and that we don't have to be slaves. And there's a lot of messages that are very similar to what Jesus was trying to show people. And he was right
keep
on.
listening to that music.
They killed him too, because
who?
they killed Jesus.
Yeah.
you know, they killed Jesus because of what his message was, and I feel like mine is very similar. I can relate.
Well, keep listening to that music. Find your happy place
It's beautiful.
and
Yeah,
keep the knowing.
I'll send you the link.
Don't go numb.
Doing what?
Don't go numb. That's not a good place to be.
Yeah, and
Now
sometimes
that
it's
you've
so,
experienced the numbness, and I
yeah.
mean, I think as someone that's been abused before, has PTSD, the numbness is not a good place to be. You
It's
know,
not. Yeah.
so you need to talk, open up, find your happy place. You know.
Mhm. Yeah, nature, being in nature is amazing. Enjoying the creation that's all around us.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm home when I'm in nature. So that's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, just trying to keep in this crazy world, keeping ourselves out of crisis and making the
Yeah.
right choice,
Yeah.
making the right choices so we can, you know, grow and be able to share the message that was given to us
Yeah.
to people.
Well, I wish you lots of luck, and
Thank you.
thanks for being on.
Thank you, Peggy. It was great to talk to you.
Okay. You have a good day.
Thanks, Peggy.
Bye-bye.